What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, the Motivational Tap In Podcast. I know it's been a while since I've actually made a real YouTube video. Most of my content has been strictly audio, and it's available on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify and iHeartRadio. But I will be doing more YouTube videos, and making sure that my content is consistent. So I'm kicking it off with this video. The purpose of my channel is to help millennials to be proactive instead of reactive to the challenges that we face in life. There are a lot of issues out here, and a lot of these issues are based on social circumstances and preconditions that were here way before our time. And so, I want to help us to be proactive instead of reactive to the challenges that these issues create, and help us move forward so that we can break a lot of these generational trends that we fallen victim to. And so on this first episode, I'm going to be talking about a young man down in Florida, 27 years old, African American man, who was working at Dunkin Donuts. He got up to go to work at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day, he was facing a manslaughter charge due to him getting into an altercation with a 77-year-old man, due to that man calling him the N-word a couple of times. And this young man took action and punched the elderly man. He fell and hit his head, unfortunately, and passed away. And so after I show you guys the news video for this, I want to give my 2 cents on the lessons that can be learned, so that we can be proactive instead of reactive. So let's get to it.
Reaction to a racial slur has turned deadly, and now a Tampa Dunkin Donuts employee is facing charges. Police say the fast food worker punched a 77-year-old man after he directed a number of those slurs at the employee. 3 days later, the elderly man has died. And Fox 13's Catherine Hawley is live in Tampa with more on the story. Catherine.
Corey Pajoles is in jail tonight, charged with aggravated manslaughter. Tampa police say one punch caused that customer to fall and hit his head on the concrete floor, dying from his injuries just days later. Everything started last Tuesday around 1:30 p.m. in the drive-thru of this Dunkin' on South 50th Street. Tampa police say a 77-year-old customer was upset over the lack of service he was receiving.
The victim parks the car, goes inside, and has an argument with the employee. Well, at that time, there was a racial slur that was thrown out at the employee, and the employee told the victim to say it one more time.
That employee was 27-year-old Corey Pajoles. According to arrest paperwork, when the elderly man repeated the same racial slur, Pajoles punched him once in the face.
The suspect ended up punching the victim so hard that he fell back, hit his head on the ground. And so when we arrived, he was unconscious and bleeding from the head to where he had to be taken to the hospital.
Court documents say the man was rushed to the intensive care unit at TGH, being treated for head and brain injuries. He never regained consciousness, passing away Friday. A doctor told officers the man had a skull fracture and brain contusions.
This customer was a regular. He apparently came by that Dunkin Donuts a lot.
Pajoles told investigators the elderly man was being extremely rude that day. Police writing in the report, at no time did the decedent place his hands on the defendant or attempt to strike the defendant. Pajoles was initially charged with battery that was upgraded to aggravated manslaughter after the 77-year-old died. And Pajoles is set to be in court for that new charge this Thursday. Kelly.
All right, Catherine Hawley reporting for us tonight.
So, after watching that video, I really felt bad. I see a lot of people in the YouTube comments and World Star Hip Hop comments saying that this young man deserved it. But I think, to me, this situation is deeper than that. Just saying someone deserves it and moving on. This man did not plan to end up in that situation, right? He was doing the right thing, which is not always the case in with our generation and previous generations, right? He was getting up and going to work, putting his work clothes on, going to work and putting in the time, doing things the right way, right? Not skipping steps, going to work, being honorable in how he's living his life in that situation. And he didn't plan to end up in a situation where he was going to allow someone to have control over his emotions and his actions so much to where he ended up making a decision without truly thinking. And that's the biggest thing that I feel we need to take away from this situation. Life is chess, not checkers. In order for you to win, you have to think multiple moves ahead. You have to think holistically, and you have to make decisions not based off of emotion, but based off of logic. And that's why a lot of us struggle in this day and age. We allow our emotions to consume us and control our decision making, right? And we make decisions due to our short-term circumstances, and sometimes these decisions impact us negatively in the long term. And so we have to start being smart with the decisions that we make and think twice before we make them, right? We have to see things holistically and start being prudent. Being prudent means to move with care. We have to start moving with care in our lives and being responsible for every area in our lives so that we don't fall victim to situations like this, right? Because anyone could be in this situation, right? You can get into an argument with somebody, you can get into a heated situation and someone does something to you or you do something to them, and you don't fully think about the full long-term impact of that decision, right? And so have some compassion for this young man. I pray that he has some strength as he goes through the situation. But I want to leave y'all with a scripture. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 3 says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." The King James version says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." So be prudent in your decision making. Move with care in what you give to life, because your name, your brand, the purpose that God put on your life is important. And so you have to protect that. And protecting that means to think twice before you react, and not to give other people the power over how you feel and what you give in your life. So I pray for strength for this young man, and I hope that we can all learn something from this so that we can all be better and grow. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you feel about this situation down in the comments below. Thank you.